Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old, to history, to anecdotes, to really wherever our whims take us. Today it's Deceased number 6. We've come to the end. It's the end of the Deceased main storyline, but there will probably be more. It's time. It's all been building to this. Are you ready? If you are, hit that like button. I'm Sasha and let's do this. Cliff Notes revision for the last time. The zombie apocalypse is spreading. Started when Darkseid tried to use Cyborg to complete the anti-life equation. Heroes have fallen. Lex and Cyborg created arcs for the remains of humanity to escape upon. Superman has become infected and he's returning to Earth. Issue 6, go. This cover has nothing to do with anything. It just looks cool. It's kind of an homage to Michonne in The Walking Dead and her walkers on leashes, but really it's so they can lure you in with a Gotham City Sirens-esque cover with Harley, Ivy, and Catwoman. Which, I was already here, so they didn't need to do this. Can you imagine? Oh, look at this cover, issue 6, but I don't even care because Gotham City Zombies. The opening dramatic narration is fantastic. It's peak dramatic narration. I mean that in the best way. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But Clark had a much greater power. Every person who saw him was filled with hope. Look, up in the sky. That's such a powerful play on the classic Superman lore and the phrases and terminology that you're all used to hearing. It's coupled with these panels as he comes now infected, a perversion of what he represents to the people of Earth. It's just really effective. Well played, issue 6. Ending strong, I see. All hope was lost at 11:48 a.m. It was a Wednesday. Damian, now Batman, is quick to point out that his father had a contingency plan for this. He was prepared. This day was coming. He has it on a USB because we're modern. So now's the time for the anti-Superman plans. Who's paranoid now? In a bit of humor that works, Green Arrow is annoyed that Batman didn't have a contingency plan in place to stop him. That could be a planetary threat if I wanted to. Of course you could, dear. But wait, some of you may be crying. Why do you like this and not the others? What's wrong with you, ya big Scrooge? I thought you hated jokes. Well, this joke directly ties into what is occurring while playing with pre-established canon and character relationships. So it's in tone with the rest of the events. That's my hill. And I like it here. Wonder Woman reveals that her and Bruce were secretly perfect for each other, and that Wonder Bat is alive and well, and it's not just in my heart. She decides to modify Bruce's plan, saying that it wasn't enough because it wasn't lethal. You think Batman's the only one with enough sense to plot against his friends? Exactly. Is it paranoia if it's actually happening? Diana knows what's up. So she makes a kryptonite and magic sword because Superman is vulnerable to magic and kryptonite, and also so they can have a sword fight. Meanwhile, it's time to start loading the arcs and also keep Superman away from them. Harley and Ivy stay behind because Ivy refuses to leave the green, even though I'm sure the new planet will have plants, but whatever. And Harley won't leave because she refuses to leave Ivy because, well, you know how attached she gets in relationships. Except this is Ivy, so when people talk about it, they'll be like, "Aw, that's romantic." But if it was the Joker, it'd be like, "Oh, it's codependent and awful." I know those two relationships are different, but that's a similar trait that she shares in both, and it's never talked about. And so I'm salty, bitter Betty, salty Sally. No human can have this much salt and survive. I'm worried about myself. You know what else is salty? The sea. And here is Aquaman looking amazing, rising with an undead kraken and a zombie horde. This panel is so good. All hail the king of the sea, until Green Arrow snipes him with an arrow. Poor Arthur. He tries so hard to be cool and then taken out as a cool moment for Green Arrow so he can go, yeah, F Batman, asterisk, ampersand, pound sign. I guess Ollie's been watching a lot of Titans. Still, it works. Poor Arthur. When Green Arrow is cooler than you, it's all gone wrong somehow. But they were on an island, and that is Ollie's domain. The Amazons face off against the Atlanteans in an epic battle to the finish, but it results in them being left behind. Meanwhile, on the Superman front, Diana cuts his arm off with the sword, but it's not enough. He can't be stopped, and he infects her and heads for the arcs. Cyborg opts to stay behind with her because, well, he feels that this whole thing is his fault because he's got Spider-Man levels of misplaced guilt. Who does he think he is, getting kidnapped by Darkseid? I mean, how noble. What a wonderful sacrifice that I can entirely understand and respect. John can see his father coming and goes to confront him. It's okay, Mom. I know what I have to do. And he opens his jacket to reveal the Superman symbol. Chills when I read this. Chills. Maybe it's cold in here because this is the second time I've had chills. Clark would have been so proud of him. John can't stop his father, but then surprise, it's time for the cavalry, the entire Green Lantern Corps, because they decide maybe it was time to do something. And apparently it's been about a month. or so, and they're here to quarantine Earth, which also fine. This is a giant galactic threat at this point, so really they could have come earlier. So they try and take on Superman, but they can't, and he throws himself into the sun and begins draining it of all energy, and they decide, well, I guess that'll keep him busy for a while. Let's take these arcs and go. Although the panels of this are really cool. They're very Phoenix-esque, and I'll never say no to that. They're off on a galactic pilgrimage. What's happening on Earth? Cyborg has lassoed Wonder Woman and is trying to talk to the zombie, blight, anti-life equation, entity, concept thing. Anyway, it tells him that there is a cure. The cure is in you. You are man and machine. You are binary, off and on. Patient zero and the one, the alpha, the omega. But that means everyone we fought, everyone we ended, they didn't have to die. Firstly, no, some of them needed to go. We were there, we saw. Secondly, come again? What? I'm gonna need a bit more explanation as to how that would actually work than just, he's the one. This is just here so there can be extra despair, because then she beheads him. So, oh no, his am I a man or a machine cure is lost forever, seemingly. How? He's not even the only cyborg. You know what? It's fine. It's done. His head's off. We're done. Lois is waxing poetic, holding John, who's fine. He's just got one of those plot convenience arm slings that says, I'm hurt, but not that hurt. As we looked on our new world for the first time, our new start, our Earth 2. Do you get it? Because Earth 2 was the name of the first parallel Earth when it debuted way back in 1961. Callback. I knew the monsters were behind us now. Or were they? Dun dun dun. So that was Deceased, the main event. It was pretty solid. Now, as a reading experience, it is going to vary whether you read it issue to issue like this or if you read it all at once in trade, but either way, it should read pretty well. Issue to issue, each one had a pretty solid cliffhanger ending that left you wanting more, although there was some pacing issues depending upon where you were in the series. However, altogether, it should read very well because of the reveal that Lois is the narrator, so it will read more like a journal, and that will also retroactively make some of the pacing read a lot better. As a whole, how effective this will be will depend on your taste for these narratives. This series could vacillate between feeling extremely personal and then seconds later very aloof and disconnected. The art could be evocative and heartbreaking, or very simplistic, particularly in the faces, where sometimes some characters could look almost identical. I'm glad I read it, that's for sure, and I'll probably read it again. But simultaneously, I'm afraid that it's gonna balloon into one of those things that just never ends, and we're gonna be in Marvel Zombies territory. Marvel Zombies is now 14 series in. There's that many. I know some people found this series daring and bold and shocking. They killed off Batman? Well, I never. But I don't know, it never felt like that to me. It felt like zombies, but with DC characters, which was the hook. But what did you guys think? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? Share down below. I'm Sasha, and thanks so much for watching Casually Comics. Please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Also, live in my Two-Face shirt. I've been finding that there are many of these online, and I need them all. Two-Face is my style icon. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.